Hello, 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 and welcome to I forgot to set the volume for the video again because I'm a professional and I don't. Oh my god. Hello. Welcome to not quite an RT appetizer, but also not quite an EdeAscent. And it's not the new Trial of Heroes quite yet because I am tired. And I haven't had time to gear this specific unit and or do any of the other things that I should to try and give her the best possibility of winning. So normally, RT Appetizer is just for a quick play-by-play of what happened. And for this one, I've been doing pretty well. I'm ranked 275, 37 points, which is pretty good. I'm only 9 away from getting back to 50% win rate, which I will be proud of myself if I get to, because then I can just lose 1,800 games in a row and be perfectly happy and not mauled at all ever. But I want to kind of go into more in depth about these fights just because they were fun, they were good fights, and to kind of explain my reasoning behind it, because we don't really get to hear my reasoning behind stuff because I don't really have any reasoning behind stuff. I just kind of pick units. Like, I always say to myself that I'm gonna think about my picks and take the full time, and then I just slambo jambo. And then with the ban, I'm like, oh, I'll think about it, but I never do. But yeah, we're facing someone in the Korea server. So they had first pick, and we're gonna go a little bit more in depth about this, and you're gonna see if I won or lost right at the get-go, because it's not really gonna be a secret. It's just gonna be more of a guide, a strategy, a thought process of what I chose and why I did what I did. So they picked first. They picked T. Crozet, which is an interesting first pick, and that makes me think that they're going to pick one unit that they really, really want to protect. Usually it's like an Arya or a Landy, some sort of counter unit, or unit that can hold its own. So I decide to go with, because this doesn't give me too much information, but it does let me know they're probably gonna focus on one unit. So I'm gonna go for an Arwell, just because she's the best all-around knight at the moment. Her mitigation, her stun, her strip, if she lands, any of that is very good, and that's why she's a top competitor at the moment. And Flitica gives me the possibility to be fast, quick on my feet, essentially, to allow me to adapt around their strategy. Because if they decide to speed contest me, then I can play around that. That's fine. In response to my Flitica and my Arwell, they go for AOL and Rimuru. AOL, because Flitica has an S2 to strip buffs, so they probably don't want me stripping buffs, which is fine. And Rimuru, because I will have a barrier on my Flitica, so even if I don't have stealth, which I don't, he can still proc his S2 off of Flitica. So that's their thought. But at the moment, their only DPS is Rimuru. So Stene's still on the table, so I go with Stene. Stene is good because it allows me to soul burn. It allows me to have a bit more power. She's a very strong unit, and also she's in stealth. They have to go through everybody else to get the Stene. And at the moment, that will take them a long time, and Stene can just win games by herself. I mean, there's a reason why Protect the Stene comps exist. So in response to Stene and Knockwall, I picked Knockwall because Knockwall can kind of ruin AOL's cleanse, can reset the Rimuru, prevent the Rimuru from going, all that kind of stuff. In response to that, they decide to go, oh, okay, well, they're going fast, even though my Knuckles 260 something speed. Not hyper fast, but not exactly slow. They go for Ran and Bellion. So I'm like, okay, they really want to get to the Stene. So I'm just going to ban Bellion because Bellion, all she does is AoEs. That is all she does. There's nothing else that Bellion can do other than AoEs. Ran only has one AoE. And if he does not kill my Stene with that initial S3, I am safe. And yeah, I'm okay with that. So I ban out the Bellion. They ban out my mitigation because I'm sure they're thinking Ran can just kill every single one of these units with a single S3, even though I last picked Ed because Ed is good into AOL, T-Crozet, and Ran, and Bellion. So yeah, I expected them to ban out Ed, but they didn't. So let's see how that worked out for them. I mean, obviously it didn't work out for them, but there are definitely a couple of things to keep in mind. One, the T-Crozet is on Adamant Shield. It's not on Bastion. It's not on Aureus, and it's not on Bastion. So Rimmer is just gonna let loose the S3. He's on Sword of Summer Twilight, so I don't know if this is necessarily like a cleave one. But most importantly, he does not kill Stene, and that's very important. So AOL obviously is just going to do AOL things because Ed has already countered. He's already used his equivalent exchange for the turn. So my job at the moment is just to try and get them to press all the buttons. Defense broke, whatchamacallit, the Rimmer. I just want them to waste as much as humanly possible. They're going to go into Ed, but it is not a crit damage Rimuru. At least it doesn't look like it. So I'm just going to start breaking some skill nulls to get where I want to go. Stene, I'm just going to soul burn out of this defense break because it is terrifying. Rimuru, I have faith that my Ed can kill the Ran even if he misses, so I'm just going to stun the Rimuru because there's no more cleanses on their team. AOL's already done her cleanse. T-Crozet's already done his cleanse. There's literally nothing else that they can do. So I'm going to get rid of this Ran. I'm not going to gain a lot of health, but I didn't really expect to. I just wanted to get rid of him because he still poses a threat to my Ed. No one else can one-shot my Ed. They can kill Flitica, but then they have Ed to go through with 2 units that have S1s, or 2 units that have debuffs on their S1 in AOL and Crozet. Flitica is just going to strip some buffs. They're going to stun Knockwall, which is fine. Probably should have gone into AOL here to stop her from pushing up, but I didn't actually see what artifact he was on at the beginning. So I presumed that he was on Holy Sack, because that's usually another one that they're usually on. I'm going to S3 him. He resists it, so I don't know if he has a lot of ER. But I do proc the Rimmeru's S1, and it turns out to be an Uberius Tooth Rimmeru, because I guess that's the hot new trend amongst Rimmerus is Uberius Tooth to kill Galaliasis. I wasn't expecting that. It still did not kill Stene, which works for me because he has probably no attack. I'm going to bind everybody. I decided to push back the Rimmeru so that my Ed can go before him and gain back some HP. And now Stene and Knockwall are in stealth, and they have to go into Ed. And Ed, as Ed does, resists the AOL's silence. But now I just have to kill this Rimuru. So I'm going to go ahead and S2 him, seal him, kill him, and now AOL still tries to S1 the Ed, and Ed once again resists. And then they give it up because Ed will just be able to gain back health. Freaking Ed. Freaking Ed, man. Oh boy, 2 resists in a row. Good job, Ed. Your 3 billion ERs coming into play. So this fight against Noir Sama in the Asia server, they banned out Celilius and AOL. That's typical bans. What I did note is that Lua was free, but I did not pick her because I forgot. But they first picked Knackle. So whenever I see Knackle, I'm going to take Arwell from them because Arwell is super good with Knackle. So I'm going to take Arwell and I'm going to take Karina. Because Arwell's going to be absorbing so much damage that Karina will proc very, very quickly. In response to Karina, they go Lua and DDR. DDR, as I'm sure a lot of you know, is the current hotness to use and to throw on every team imaginable. I'm not scared of him, really, because Bunny Dom exists, and also it lets me use my Dilibet more. But yeah, I'm not afraid of DDR. So in response to DDR, I go with Dilibet, who's a good cleanser, and Bunny Dom, who is perfect into Lua and DDR. So it's a double win. They go for LRK because they're like, okay, well, I need damage mitigation now because Karina does pack a punch. Dilibet packs a punch to an extent. I'm picking a lot of defense scaling units. And Solitaria. So more control. So I last pick Ed because Ed is good into 80% of his team. And with DDR's Venom buff, 100% of his team. I expected Bunny Dom to be banned or Ed to be banned. I expected either one of those to happen. They banned out Arwell because I'm sure they were like, okay, there's no way he'll ban Knackle. But looking at their team and what I already had, I had Bunny Dom, Dilibet, and Karina. Why would I be scared of a Solitaria? Like, I already had a good cleansing core that Solitaria does not tip the scale, as it were. So I'm just going to get rid of the biggest threat that they have, which is Knackle. Otherwise, they're not doing that much damage. And, like, all of my units, even without mitigation, are extremely hard to kill because they're tanky. So I banned out Knackle. They banned out damage mitigation in hopes that Knackle would solo the entire world. But Knackle got banned. So we're going to jump into this and see essentially how things played out. So Lua's going first. That's fine. She can't sleep anybody. She's just going to S3. Fine. That's fine. Everybody gets reset except for Bunny Dom. Ed, I'm so proud of you. You actually resisted, or you actually didn't resist something. You prick. It's going to push Dilibet up. I'm going to go into the Solitaria. Find out it is an immensely squishy Solitaria. And that this LRK, I do not believe was on whatchamacallit? Aureus. I don't think so. No, he is. I'm just going to go into Solitaria because she has no defense whatsoever. I think it turns out to be a crit damage one? Maybe? I don't know. But I'm going to cleanse with Bunny Dom because she didn't get reset because my Bunny Dom is very cute and good. So now I'm going to go into DDR, do some damage to him. Because as soon as I can get rid of them, the easier it is for me. They're going to Venom the Dilibet, but it's going to detonate into a barrier. DDR cleanses the Provoke from the LRK, which is fine. That's to be expected. S1's into Karina, but again, it doesn't actually do anything. Because the Venom just dissipates into the ether. Solitary is going to S1. It does look like a crit damage Solly, or damage one, but Ed exists, and Dilibet is going to cleanse, and Dilibet is going to S3. And I've been keeping track of the LRK, and that one turn increase actually provided a use, because now he can't S3. And Karina still has yet to go. So Karina is just going to punch this LRK in the face and watches everybody but Lua explodes. Because I was taking notes. Ed debuffed the LRK with his S2, which means this LRK has like no ER whatsoever. So yeah, I was very confident that Karina would defense break and kill. And then DDR cannot solo an Ed with a Lua. Not a chance. No shot in hell. And then we came up against Basilia. They went for... I guess I had first pick. They banned Knackle, or NyQuil. NyQuil and AOL. I picked Lua because I noticed that she was free, so why not when in Rome? They went for Knackle Arwell, which is such a strong core. So I responded with Karina and Bryceria. Karina, good into Aravi, or good into, I'm so used to saying Aravi, good into Knackle, defense break, all that good. Bryceria, good into Knackle, etc., etc. Defense breaks, all the stuff you love. They go for Handguy for the cleanse and Pylus for, I guess, other damage. And I wasn't really sure how to respond to that very well, so I just went for ML Ken and LCB to kind of overwhelm the Knackle. And they last picked F10A. Looking back on it now, I probably should have just banned the Knackle, because they don't really have any damage other than Pylus at that point, and I guess a little bit of F10A. But like, LCB is going to be countering like mad into the F10A. So like, I have 2 lifesteal units. I should have just gotten rid of Knackle. But I mean, that's the things you learn. I got rid of F10A, they got rid of Lua. So, unfortunately, my Bryceria does outspeed their Handguy, which is annoying, because I would have liked to have defense broken everybody on their team, but instead, I kind of have to waste, because I'm on Misha. I'm not on Guiding Light, because God save me, I hate Guiding Light. I do defense break the Knackle, but they're just going to S3, and then Arwell's going to stun the Bryceria, and then I have nothing. I'm just going to S1 into the Knackle, do some damage to her. They're going to get Barrier up to mitigate all of the damage ever. They have immunity up, so Karina can't even do anything. Very, very rough time. A very rough going here. I'm trying to think what else I should have picked. I maybe should have last picked Ed, but I don't know. Ed's not very good into their first 4, so it's hard to say. They're going to strip the... what's her face? I forget her name. LCB. There's too many L's. Gonna counter everybody. Do not enough to break anything. They're gonna salvo. It does a lot of damage because I have no mitigation whatsoever. ML Ken, I'm scared of S3ing. There's no real point to me S3ing, so I'm just gonna S1 the knack. I'll do nothing. They're gonna get rid of Bryceria. They actually crit, which is funny. It doesn't actually do anything though. But I am doing essentially no damage. So I have to just hope to cycle and hope to cycle, and it's not working out. Pylus, gonna Rocket Power Punch, do an amount of damage. I am essentially forced to S3 here, because then I won't have defense buff anymore. So I'm gonna punch the Knackle. Hope that it counters me, so that I can gain back a little bit of health with LCB, but it doesn't work. Plus attack buff, I need the counter. Nope, it killed me. And yeah, that was pretty much where I called it, because there's no shot that ML Ken can. Do I keep going? I do. There's no shot that ML Ken's going to be able to destroy them. They're going to keep going into Karina because they can't go into ML Ken. And yeah, that's going to do it, because now Pylus can just kill ML Ken without critting. There he goes. And yeah. So, a bit of poor drafting on my part, but what are you going to do? It happens. And then, was it this one? Oh, God. Yeah, this one. So this is against Hanbi in the Critical Guild in the Asia server. They banned out Lua and Aiden, so I had a feeling that they probably wanted to go DDR at some point, or just, cleave. So they first picked Zeo. In response to Zeo, I first picked Karina and Knackle. Two very strong units. They went NyQuil, DDR, so I responded with Bunny Dom and Destina. They picked Stene and LRK, and then I picked a Ravi. I forgot that NyQuil can soul burn, and that Zeo and Stene are both book holders, but I couldn't let Stene through because then she just can kill everybody. And I had no real way of reaching her because I do not trust my Knackle to do anything ever. So I ban out Stene. They ban out Bunny Dom because obviously they want their Knackle and DDR to work. But yeah. But I have a lot of resilience, I guess is the right word, on my team. Zeo is a pretty bulky boy. I believe he goes into the Karina. He does. Silence, pushes her back, all that kind of stuff. I have to hope that Karina doesn't get reset here, even though I know that she will, because, yep, that's my luck. Ravi and Knackle both counter and get, stopped. But I just have to hope that I can survive the initial onslaught. They're going to seal Ravi, and the only time they ever decide to counter is when they're both unable to counter. This DDR's S3 did nothing. It actually did nothing. They're gonna use the new souls that they got, because they already did that many souls worth of everything, to soul burn LRK. But I mean, Knackle can't counter, so that it is what it is. I'm going to try to get rid of the Zio at this point, because he is a pain in the butt. And I would really rather not have to fight him. It's definitely not a damage Zio, because it barely kills. Just going to keep going into Zio. I do get a Salvo, which means their LRK is, 2 turns sooner. DDR, I can't remember. I think he goes into Knackle? No, he goes into Aravi just to Venom her down. And NyQuil already has her S2 because it's a 2-turn cooldown. Who'd have thought? But yeah, I'm losing track of what I'm doing. They're gonna go into Knackle double critter because of the whatchamacallit. So Destina is kind of priced into reviving everybody. I don't know where everybody is in the combat readiness bar because I didn't look, but I'd rather have everyone back in commission. They're actually going to go into Aravi, and Aravi's going to counter and kill the Zio. Power of Aravi. They're going to put the Aravi to sleep, and Knackle counters. Doesn't salvo, though, because she doesn't know how to do that. And now, they're going to S3. Again, but that's fine. They do hit the Karina, I believe. But Karina procs everything. And I can start working on this DDR. If Knackle, or not Knackle, if Karina can defense break the DDR right here, and Knackle can kill, I think we're absolutely off to the races. She does just that. Knackle, if you please. There he goes. And an extra little salvo as well to get Knackle, or NyQuil. Oh god, Knackle and NyQuil. NyQuil out of stealth. LRK is going to do his second S3, which is perfectly reasonable. They can... they S1 the Aravi. Doesn't do much, but I do get to hit the NyQuil, and then I get to push Aravi up. And they're going to seal me, but I don't know that that does enough. Because Aravi is not going to die, and I have my S3, and NyQuil is not in stealth. And regardless of if I got Karina or NyQuil back, I can beat an LRK by himself. Because Destina is still there and still a problem. But yeah, that's going to do it for today. I hope you enjoyed this slightly more informational RT appetizer. This is an RT hors d'oeuvre. We're fancy here. Hors d'oeuvre is an appetizer. This is the RT main course or whatever. It doesn't matter. Branding doesn't mean anything. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought. Do the YouTube stuff of liking and subscribing if you haven't already. It's very helpful. And then, thank you for being lovely Jonai. And I will talk to you all on the next one.